Why do we celebrate Christmas really? No, not the glittery snow globe version that somehow exists even in Los Angeles. I mean the actual messy history and human behavior reason. Because here's the thing, Christmas didn't start as one neat holiday. It's a Frankenstein monster stitched together from rituals, power moves, and cultural duct tape across centuries. Back in the day, winter was terrifying. Cold, dark, and survival depended on hope, community, and maybe a bit of luck. People dragged evergreens inside to remind themselves that life continues, feasted on what they had, and celebrated light returning. No marketing, no debt, just rituals designed to survive, not impress. Fast forward to now, and the season looks nothing like that. Decorations, corporate music, gift lists, Instagram perfect meals, and Santa tracking your every move dominate December. Today we're counting down the things that were essentially free about Christmas. Simple, symbolic, meaningful traditions, until one idiot ruined it for everyone. Stick around because number one will absolutely ruin your day. Let's get started. Number 10, Evergreen Trees. Back in the day, evergreens were more than decoration. They were a lifeline during the harsh winter months. Ancient cultures dragged pine, fir, and spruce inside, not for Instagram, but because they symbolized life surviving in a world of frost and darkness. The green needles were proof that even in death, nature persisted. No lights, no ornaments, no receipts, just symbolism, ritual, and hope. Families celebrated the return of the sun by surrounding themselves with living reminders that life would continue, and that spring would eventually arrive. It was simple, meaningful, and free. But then one idiot changed everything. Prince Albert, husband of Queen Victoria, had his Christmas tree drawn and published in 1848. Suddenly, Victorian society saw the royal tree and collectively gasped. So that's how it's done. Now, evergreens are farmed, cut, shipped across continents, and sold like luxury commodities. Real trees cost money and storage space. Fake trees cost your soul and a shed's worth of plastic. And both come with a side of guilt because if your tree isn't perfectly Instagram ready, you're apparently failing at life. A symbol of survival became a seasonal expense, proving that humans will find a way to monetize literally anything. But number 9 takes the cake. Number 9, gift giving. Back in the day, giving gifts was about thoughtfulness, not price tags. A handful of figs, some bread, a hand-carved trinket. These small gestures communicated care and community. There was no expectation of materialism, no societal pressure, just simple acts of generosity. But then one idiot changed everything. Enter St. Nicholas, the benevolent 4th century bishop, who secretly left gold coins for poor families. His story spread, and the focus shifted from symbolic giving to tangible rewards. Everyone started measuring generosity by what was delivered, not by the thought behind it. Fast forward a few centuries, and capitalism found a loophole. Now, missing the right gift isn't just a social faux pas. It's practically a moral failing. Overspending? That's irresponsibility. Underspending? Clearly cheap. There is no winning. The symbolic gift became a financial obligation wrapped in guilt. Every store, every ad, every meticulously curated wish list feeds into the idea that love is quantifiable in receipts and swiped credit cards. The joy of giving is now paired with anxiety, stress, and a month-long budgeting nightmare. Gifts, once simple tokens of thoughtfulness, have become emotional invoices. But number 8 slides down the chimney. Number 8, Santa Claus. Back in the day, Santa Claus wasn't the jolly red-suited, North Pole-bound marketer we know today. He was a complex mashup of folklore, saintly figures, and regional myths. In some places, he was a stern enforcer of morality. In others, a mischievous spirit. Still creepy, still mysterious, but somehow manageable. But then one idiot stepped in. Haddon Sundblom, working for Coca-Cola in the 1930s, painted the version of Santa that dominates the world today. Cheerful, round, red-suited, with a twinkle in his eye, and a bottomless bag of consumer desire. Suddenly, Santa wasn't about morality or folklore. He was a corporate mascot. Now, Santa tracks your buying habits instead of your behavior. He exists to sell sugar, toys, and emotional manipulation in equal measure. He's not checking if you've been good, he's checking if you've been consuming. The moral lessons, the folklore quirks, the regional variations, gone, replaced by a uniform icon that boosts December sales worldwide. He's so cheerful, yet so subtly terrifying. Your happiness is now tied to your ability to shop, consume, and display the right holiday spirit. Once a strange guardian of morality, Santa is now a jolly enforcer of capitalism. But number 7 rewrites the calendar. Number 7, December 25th. Back in the day, no one actually knew when Jesus was born. Zero records existed. Birthdays weren't even celebrated in early Christian communities, and the timing didn't matter. People celebrated festivals when the seasons dictated in winter, spring, harvest, but there was no December 25th. But then one idiot made an executive decision. Pope Julius I in the 4th century. He officially designated December 25th as the date to celebrate Jesus' birth. Conveniently, it coincided with Saturnalia, a wildly popular Roman festival full of feasting, gift-giving, and general chaos. Strategic? Absolutely. Historical accuracy? Optional. Now, December 25th isn't about aligning with natural events or community rituals. It's a fixed date chosen for political and religious expedience, layered over older pagan celebrations. The world now stops, or thinks it should, on a date set centuries ago for control, not celebration. Calendars, marketing campaigns, school schedules, and work vacations all revolve around this arbitrary date. It's less divine timing and more coordinated chaos. A day once flexible and meaningful became rigid, globalized, and heavily commercialized. We celebrate because someone decided we should, not because the sun or stars said so. But number 6 sings louder. Number 6, Christmas carols. Back in the day, Christmas carols weren't sweet little ditties meant to tug on your heartstrings or guilt you into seasonal cheer. They were rowdy, sometimes drunken songs sung in the streets. People celebrated with music, chaos, and community. Lyrics were often bawdy, irreverent, and far from religious. Carols weren't polite. They were alive, messy, and human. But then one idiot sanitized them. The Victorian Church decided that carols should be neat, moral, and palatable for polite society. No more chaos. No more singing about drinking contests or local gossip. Every song was filtered through an emotional and religious lens, transforming rowdy street music into mandatory seasonal sentiment. Now, carols are everywhere. In malls, on the radio, in elevators, and even in your sleep. They sound cheerful, warm, and wholesome. But beneath the melody lies a subtle guilt trip. If you don't feel wonder, joy, or nostalgia while they play, you are somehow failing at Christmas. What was once a human, communal expression became a carefully curated soundtrack of societal expectation. The streets lost their chaotic joy, and music became another instrument of seasonal compliance. But number 5 gets awkward. Number 5, Mistletoe. Back in the day, mistletoe wasn't about awkward social obligations or sudden lip locks at holiday parties. Druids revered it as sacred, a powerful plant believed to heal illness, protect against evil spirits, and bless crops. It was medicine, magic, and a symbol of life enduring through the dead of winter. But then one idiot got creative. Victorian men turned it into a kiss-triggering holiday custom. Suddenly, the sacred plant became a socially sanctioned way to encourage romance. Often awkward, sometimes unwelcome, and always laden with expectation. The magic of healing and protection was replaced with social pressure. Now, mistletoe is a tiny branch of anxiety hanging over doorways. You can't stand under it without considering consent, awkwardness, and whether you're ready to participate in a ritualized display of seasonal romance. A plant that once carried the weight of spiritual and survival significance is now a cliché, a prop, and a source of mild panic. We went from sacred symbolism to forced romance, all in a few centuries. Humanity turned a healer into a reminder that holiday expectations are complicated. But number 4 builds a scene. Number 4, the Nativity Scene. Back in the day, there was no manger scene. Early Christians focused on theology, scripture, and abstract storytelling. Birth narratives existed in texts, But no one was hauling hay into public squares to stage a live performance of a baby in a barn. But then one idiot got crafty, St. Francis of Assisi. In the 13th century, he staged the first nativity scene to make the Christmas story tangible. The idea caught on, and suddenly depicting the birth of Jesus became a central part of holiday tradition. Now, every lawn, church, and public space hosts a miniature religious diorama. Tiny figurines of Mary, Joseph, shepherds, and animals line suburban yards alongside inflatable Santas and reindeer. The sacred story is transformed into decor, a visual cue that you are participating in the season correctly. Its theology meets Instagram, and the simplicity of the story often gets lost under lights and holiday marketing. The Nativity, once a quiet narrative, is now a display competition. Spiritual reflection has become visual spectacle. Everyone is reminded of the holiday story, but only if it's perfectly staged, appropriately themed, and culturally palatable. What was meant to bring people closer to a story now mostly brings people closer to credit card bills and lawn envy. But number three costs interest. Number three, Christmas debt. Back in the day, Christmas gifts were given based on what you had. People exchanged what they could afford: homemade items, a handful of fruit, a loaf of bread. No one expected extravagant presents, and no one went into financial distress trying to impress anyone. But then, one idiot introduced the concept of consumer credit on a massive scale: banks and credit cards. Suddenly, the act of gift giving became tied to borrowing money, interest rates, and debt cycles. Now, Christmas is a financial gauntlet. People overspend, under budget, and stress themselves into January trying to recover. The joy of giving has been replaced by budgeting spreadsheets, post-holiday panic, and calls from debt collectors. Society now equates generosity with how much money you can temporarily throw around. Financially secure? You're generous. Poor? You're selfish. Somewhere in the middle? Guilt. The once simple symbolic act of giving transformed into a ritualized economic trap. Debt has become the hidden ornament on every tree. The cheerful celebration is now punctuated by the sound of credit card statements arriving in your mailbox. What started as community-based generosity is now a month-long lesson in financial stress and societal pressure. But number two steals your vacation. Number two, time off. Back in the day, festivals and winter celebrations meant real time off. Work paused, communities came together, and people rested. The winter solstice and associated holidays were moments to pause, reflect, and survive the darkest season. But then one idiot optimized productivity. The Industrial Revolution. Factories, schedules, and strict labor laws transformed leisure into limited, regimented time. Workers still got holidays, but the social and spiritual freedom of the season was curtailed. Leisure was measured, controlled, and commodified. Now, even during Christmas, many people are tethered to emails, deadlines, and the constant pressure to produce. The concept of complete rest has been replaced with curated vacation experiences, shopping marathons, and the stress of family obligations. True pause, reflection, and freedom are rare commodities. What was once communal relaxation became an engineered break that keeps people productive while pretending to be free. The joy of stopping completely has been replaced with partial attention, guilt, and the constant hum of responsibility. The time off that was meant to rejuvenate now often feels like another task, another layer of social expectation, and another reminder that we're never truly free from work or consumer pressures. And finally, number one, the winter solstice hijack. Back in the day, the winter solstice was universal. Humans everywhere noticed the sun's slow return after the darkest days of the year. It was hope, survival, celebration of life itself. No commercialization, no stress, no timelines, just people pausing to mark the turning point of the seasons. But then one idiot hijacked it. The Roman Empire, in a spectacularly bureaucratic power move. They co-opted the solstice and married it to Saturnalia, a wild festival of feasting, gift-giving, and general revelry. And later, when Christianity spread, December 25th was officially institutionalized as Jesus' birthday. Chosen not for accuracy, but convenience and control. Now, the cosmic event that once unified humans with the rhythm of nature has been turned into a consumer spectacle. Shops light up before the first frost. Santa makes his rounds. Banks anticipate debt spikes. Social media feeds flood with curated perfection. The sun rises and sets exactly the same, but the meaning has been hijacked. A celebration of survival and light became a global industry of stress, spending, and expectation. Congratulations, humanity. You took the turning of the sun and turned it into a profit center. So there you have it. Christmas is a patchwork of survival rituals, power grabs, and corporate hijacks. From trees to gifts, carols to Santa, traditions evolved, or devolved, into a global spectacle of spending and expectation. Which one haunts you most? Credit card bills? The commercialized Santa? The stolen Solstice? Now you know, knowledge is the first step to sanity. Or cynicism. If you enjoyed this dive into Christmas history, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. See you next time. Hopefully with fewer profit-driven holidays to ruin.
This is Sticky Wonders, uncovering the strange logic behind the world we think